send an email
to let
with
him
it,
know.
with it, and then email them without the attachment, say, did you receive? the
Yeah.
Last email with
The
the attachment.
attachment.
It's like, hey, so
No,
that
just
works.
something about my
Yeah.
personal email. If I send it, my work email, she'll get it if I send it. But the other day, I looked down and in Outlook, there's like 3 or 4 things in the outbox. And, so I logged onto a different computer and just copied all the settings over somewhere, whatever setting it wasn't sending everything, you know.
So just doing that worked?
Well, it took care of sending everything, but I still don't know if it'll go. I haven't
Oh,
answered.
okay,
email.
that's what to say, well.
It's,
You would think they'd make it a lot easier, you know, that you could go to a reset in time.
yeah,
You
because who
used to
knows
be
what
able to
prompt,
do a reset in time, but you can't do it anymore.
I don't know what prompts it.
For whatever reason, they don't,
Everything okay?
Well, here's the other thing that we've been lazy on is that literally we still use Adelphia.net and it
Oh,
works.
yeah,
So
Okay, you still have Adelphia.
yeah.
that's.
So even though
that's
it-
actually kind of hilarious.
So even though the email's Roadrunner, right?
Yeah.
It sends and receives with Adelphia. So
Really?
I said, well,
I always know they're fossils when they do Adelphia or AOL.
oh, wow.
so I had a guy who worked for me.
You guys are scaring me. I got an appointment, next Monday.
So I had a guy who worked for me, and this is gonna be 10 years ago. So they all work out of their houses, right? He's an adjuster. And you'd go and do ride-alongs with him as the manager once in a while, but usually I found out after a while, you didn't really know, once you know they're fine with the customer, they know how to write estimate, you really get more out of sitting in their home office and finding out all the stupid workarounds because they weren't in an office to go, no, here's the right way to do this, right? So one day the guy sends me a letter to review it, and I said, yeah, make a few changes, you know, I get it in my email. I said, make a few changes and you can send it. He goes, well, you can't change them. And what he had sent me was, his Word document that he then printed, scanned back into the machine, attached to the email. And I said, no, not the way you sent it. We had it. And I was
now.
it was just like, yeah, an image file. So I said, hey, Nick, I'm down there, we're meeting next week, but let's just spend some time, just talking about stuff, right? So he's got all these stupid workarounds, and then all of a sudden, we're sitting there and I hear, you got mail. You know what? And by this time, and I think at the time the company's paying for the internet. So, and I don't think there was an option to get a free, like AOL, like Gmail, right?
Yeah.
So I said, Nick, you're still paying for AOL? Well, that's how I get my email. I said, but your cable provider would have an email that you could get. Well, I said, so you're paying, and it was still like $15 a month. But my grandkids do this, and my kids send me this, and blah, blah, blah. And I go,
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble. That's hilarious, actually.
so yeah, he was dropping things in, printing them, dropping them in the fax machine to scan. Or he may have even faxed it to himself, because I don't know if he knew how to scan at the time.
At the little, when I walked.
They say, Nick, you do it.
I will be out of town.
Let me tell you, it's amazing what you can come up with.
Yeah. When you gotta figure it out, right?
You know,
Yeah, you're doing your big trip.
Better than Disney in July.
we're getting that,
Yeah.
Oh,
the whole new system
September.
Right.
You get there on the 18th.
next Monday, right?
It's still gonna be hotter than the decade.
We haven't, ours hasn't been updated in 8 years, so they gotta change out everything. So I was talking to my son John, and I said, listen, be on standby next Monday night. And he goes, why? What'd you do? And that's what he does. And I said, because if something happens and I screw it up, all I do is I call him up. The next thing I know, my cursor's moving around and all that crap. The first time he hooked into me, I didn't know what the hell it was.
It's amazing. We used to have IT people sitting in each office, and now it's half of it's outsourced. And
Oh, yeah. Well, in your business, so
That one.
All of it has to do with that. I mean,
Across the street.
It's,
and it's like Johnson, they would rather contract us
And I'm sure it's out.
than pay us a salary, and he said, they don't realize we just charge them twice as much.
This depends. And my dogs have. What you're
you
doing.
know,
I
they
have
only keep a
Fridays,
few
weekends.
people on staff and the rest of it's outsourced and
So on each side
a lot of it's
my house,
offshore. So you're like, God, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to understand.
and then I have it all open. Oh, I have it.
They had me 2 weeks ago, and finally I said to the lady, I said, ma'am,
Black chain link, but
I'm sorry, but I said, I just can't understand you. Can you put me in touch with
We
somebody?
did that back 20 years ago.
You know, and she was very nice about it, and then I just get another person that was just as hard to understand.
Well.
The only thing,
I
the only thing our,
This is it. for tonight,
the
right?
only good thing our company did a couple of years ago was push everybody to OneDrive from Microsoft. So literally, if your computer crashes, like, as soon as I can get you a new one, you didn't lose.
You didn't lose anything.
And although they pushed us all that way from a bunch of shared drives, then I got a nasty gram the other day that says, by September, we're gonna start deleting stuff that's over 7 years old. I'm like, no. So now I gotta go figure out a way to drag it off the OneDrive onto,
Can you attach an external? Or are
they don't
set
like
against
you,
it?
but you know, I figured out a way once when I was interviewing for somewhere else going, I got too much work here that I don't wanna lose.
Yeah.
And you could drag it to it, but it's encrypted. So the key that I found was in the encryption, you would just, as long as you continue to work there, you just would put in your password. But the key I found was to drag it to then a personal computer unencrypted and then you don't lose it. Otherwise, it's gone, when you're gone, you know. which is-
Don't be doing that top secret stuff.
All of a sudden, the beer came out.
You know, back before there was a lot of concern on security. I had a claim with a guy who worked at Lockheed
The
Martin.
answer is
Manager.
yes and no.
And
What
he's
would happen
he's emailing back and forth on his claim, right?
I had talked.
So months go by, you
I
know,
we went
and
and
then
inspected and
all
what
of a
have you, but I
sudden,
had talked to him.
post
during the
9/11,
day.
an email pops up in
He
the
decided to
email
draw.
and it's, you know, I mean, it's deleted. No, I think he just, as he probably started typing in
So he
somebody
didn't
else's
need that.
name and auto.
So just
And
decided
I
he only
I
wanted
called
the
him, you
height.
know, I go,
We gave
you know,
him.
Mr.
The
Snyder,
neighbors
know
went,
your name now.
still
Look,
very.
you wanna
annoying.
check your list. He
Frankly,
said, cause it was something
He
on
didn't even
the
see the
other
damn
systems, you know, post 9/11, yeah, all that stuff. And I was like, hey.
the
I
neighbors
said, I wanna-
spoke out against him.
I know.
Okay.
In our case, we actually use the single computer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I went, you can't see it. It was,
Yeah.
it was patently
Somebody said to me,
ridiculous,
"You're
but
kidding me," and I
you know
said, "No,
what?
I
He
said,
decided he
"You
didn't want to fight with his
There
neighbors.
was only like 4 of
To
us.
go
that
a
had
couple inches
passwords.
closer.
Yeah.
Cause he had
So
plenty of
you
room
know.
to do
You know,
it.
so
It just,
if I did
it
it,
was just,
and you
it's a
screwed it
little
up,
bit inconvenience.
it popped
He
up
just-
my
He
code.
said, you know what?
Whereas
So-
if you did and you screwed up, but the
Because, you
thing
know,
was,
the bottom line is,
Somebody
this,
said,
he had
well,
enough room to
give
do
me your
it.
password and I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He said his
We had
neighbors are
a,
not
I'm not
gonna
gonna get
spend the
shot.
money.
I had a claim once,
challenge that.
with the company had a
And-
skinny Atlas. I
And
don't
it's
even
just
know
like
what
that shed we did on,
they made or, they
I
couldn't have printed it somehow.
think you did the.
or
something?
No,
The claim
Out by
was
way,
they delivered a printer.
where he,
Somebody
where he,
cash on delivery,
he
but
had the
the
pad in
UPS
place,
people were only
He
supposed to
wanted to
accept
do-
like some
but it
kind
was
of
too close.
certified
And the
check.
neighbors were
And the
objecting.
check
And
was
we didn't have a
so
sufficient reason
realistic and legitimate.
not to
They
do
take
it
the
and
check,
comply,
the checks,
even though,
you know,
so,
it turns out to
so,
be bogus.
you know,
And,
frankly, I was willing to give the guy the
and
variance.
it's prices, I think UPS has a
But
process of.
He said, you know what, this guy
They
was
were
challenged
asked to
me.
do this stuff.
And-
So
and he's gonna tie this
we,
whole
I
project
don't know
up, but I
whether
can't
it's paid
wait.
it or not, because
So he
some of
goes,
that stuff
I'll
like
just,
being.
I'll
used
just
to
comply with that
right?
part of it.
Um,
But give me the
but the
height.
guy says,
And the neighbors
goes,
still
well, here's-
complain about the
here's
height.
my
Even with
concern
even
about
with
the loss
extra
of the
height,
sprinter, he says if
on
they
the-
could
the
do that
garage,
good of a
It's
job.
still lower
on
than the
whatever
house, because the
device
house
they
is not,
had,
it's not a
This
grade.
is the printer the federal government uses
So-
for passports.
No, I mean,
Oh, my
You're
gosh.
Like,
You know, you see here.
oh, no, there's a lot going on with that.
Northeastern computer graphics and animation.
Yeah, the Granado, oh, yeah, that's, I'll tell you about that when we,
We're
after.
gonna
He
get
goes
that
up there,
back.
right, he's parking
Oh,
his ass off. What
they'll be
about
back.
kids doing their freshman?
It's
So-
coming. Okay, let's call the meeting to order.
I'll tell you.
Real
This is funny,
quickly.
you,
Minutes of last meeting, everybody have a chance to look at it. Anybody have any changes, additions or deletions?
we're live.
Hmm?
We're live, going.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So. Minutes?
On the on the minutes, anybody have any changes, additions, deletions? Got a motion to approve? I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Steve,
Yes.
Gary,
yes,
Don.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
My favorite scene.
I'm abstaining.
Yep, you. Okay, first item on tonight's agenda is an application by Nicholas, and I hope Jam,
Yeah.
okay, 6940 Owasco Road, Upper New York, tax map 123.15-1-15-2. Seeking a 1 foot height area variance to install a 4 foot fence in the front yard. Come on up. Have a seat. Why don't you explain that? I think we have a pretty good idea. I mean, we see the posts in place.
Yeah, it's that.
There's not much to this. So you're just gonna put a dog in?
Yeah, that's it. Just from literally our front porch, this door, it lets her out, it just goes right.
Yeah, it's not a huge area,
It's
but
not.
how far back from it? That's gotta be 100 feet from the road.
Yeah. Max.
So there's no site
No,
issues.
There's,
there's-
you can, no, you can,
No,
on our
there-
porch, you can see right to the road, you can see everything.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, oh,
no-
yeah, absolutely. You know, just so you know, I mean, the front yard, we always have a problem with because of the way the
Right.
code is. However, we're in a process of a revision of the code.
Okay.
And hopefully, the revision is going to be a 4 foot front yard to comply with standard fencing. Measured from the top rails, not the posts. So as not to cause all sorts of crazy issues that have been surfacing. So I mean, just across the entire front yard, just where the posts are.
Mhm.
Okay,
it has nothing to do with the sight line.
No
sight
sight line
triangle,
issues.
nothing, it's far enough back.
okay, and you certainly want 4 foot for a dog instead of.
What kind
3.
of dog?
A golden doodle?
Yeah, you
Oh,
want,
okay.
you,
He was
Yeah.
barking at me today,
Yeah, she's,
or she.
well, her bark sounds like pretty intimidating. She's there,
Soft,
she's
huh?
really friendly, I promise.
didn't even come out when I was there, geez.
No, I know.
I came to the front door and was barking, and then I went to the back door, then he followed me, she followed me.
Yeah, we have to block off the kitchen for various reasons, but she won't get to that window, but
Yeah. I want. 4 Golden's good
yeah,
size.
she's
Hopefully
56
4,
pounds.
hopefully 4 will keep her him in.
Yeah, right now she's 56 and she stayed steady, like 56 pounds, and she hasn't really grown much length, so.
Yeah, I don't see any change in the character of the neighborhood there. It's set back far. Sorry.
I'd only make one request, that maybe you should put up a sign that tells people to use the other door. Instead of talking to me. So, I mean, cause I got up to the porch and I saw the baby gate and I'm like, you know what, I knocked on the side of the wall.
Yeah.
And then the dog started barking, and then I went around to the back, but. You know, when you got a 4 foot fence and your dog's in there, you probably don't want to invite anybody.
Right.
So,
Yeah. But I mean, no change in the
No.
character of the neighborhood. I mean, this is about a no brainer as we get. Anybody here speak for or against this proposal? Let the record reflect there is nobody here to speak either for or against. Anyone? We got a motion?
I got a motion. Mike Jones would like to make a motion to grant Nicholas Gem
Yes,
of 6940 Owasco Road, Owasco, New York, tax map number 123.15-1-15.2 under section 150 of the table of international requirements, section 25 from the town of Owasco code, a variance to construct a 4 foot fence. The fence will be granted the following variance. It needs a 1 foot variance as code is 3 foot in front yards.
In granting this variance, the zoning board of appeals took into consideration the benefit to the neighborhood as weighted against the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. In doing so, we've identified that there will be no undesirable change to the neighborhood. Is existing residences have similar height variances, which I did find a couple. And it's reasonable that the owner wants to improve their property in this way to contain their pets.
I'll second that.
Steve?
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes,
Sean?
Yes.
Yes. And that will close the GAM hearing. Good luck with the dog. And, you know, sorry you had to even come here for that, you know.
Fine, thank you.
Hopefully, when we get the code changed, the similarly situated people won't have to come and deal with this
I'm happy to follow up with them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
thing. Okay, we're gonna break a record tonight, because these are good, yeah, quick and dirty. Okay, next application. I did put on the record, we closed, they closed again. Okay, we'll open the application of, now,
I don't.
the property is owned by Joseph Doherty, but Go Dumb Properties Inc., Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Is the applicant, okay, and they're seeking an 8-foot north side area variance to rebuild the garage. 24 by 14 on the same setback as the old garage. In the future, since you're doing these rehabs, before you knock them down, why don't you apply for the variance just in case?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Well,
see,
it just honestly,
it was bad
it
shape.
looks so bad, it
Yeah.
looks so dilapidated, and it basically takes up the whole property, like it was either gonna be. Just, we're gonna clean it up and it's gonna go
It
away,
was-
or if we're fortunate
yeah.
enough to get the variant.
It was pretty bad.
It was a rough day.
But you know, the issues becoming is that when you. I understand in your case, because that was gonna come down regardless whether you could build a new one.
Yeah.
But, you know, some folks knock it down and say. And then we go. Sorry, but code doesn't allow you to do this, and now you're without a garage, you
Yeah.
know? So, you know, I just don't want to get jammed up in the future, that's all. That was that's all that commentary was about.
there's a lot of people that watch you too, trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot more than you ever think.
okay,
And they don't mind to remind us that you didn't let them do that.
right,
So, anyway, so you're doing the rehab on the house. The garage is gonna be in the same exact footprint as as before, same distance from the
From
property
Joe's.
line.
yeah, cause
Uh,
I.
You're
when
just
we first
pushing it
started
back,
off,
right?
Go Dumb owns that property, and
Okay,
then Joe Doherty he just purchased the building next door, so he's the adjacent neighbor.
oh, he's the adjacent,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
That one to the north that's being rehabbed.
Yeah, towards the town, yeah, town's Auburn, yeah. So
yeah, so
we're-
he's doing some rehab work himself.
But he's doing something over there. I wish he'd pick up the pace, but apparently he's gonna redo the outside once he kind of gets.
Yeah, we could see that things have
Yeah.
started in the back when we went and did the inspection for your garage.
Yeah,
But my understanding is, I mean, it's straight on for the driveway, straight back, so you can get in and out of the garage.
yeah,
And behind is a hill that's,
clip,
yeah, I wouldn't call it a hill, it's a cliff, is
Yeah.
right. And so you're basically, you're gonna push it back 4 feet to give you a little bit of room
yep,
Yeah.
toward the cliff, but no closer than the previous
Yeah.
garage was on the north side to the neighbor.
Pushing it
exactly.
back to 4 feet will also make it legally for the fire department.
Yeah, because you need a 10-foot
You need a
separation
10-foot
Yeah, yeah.
House
separation
in the garage.
in the garage.
between the
Yeah.
house and the garage.
That was one of the main drivers of getting it back there, is it just literally congests the whole.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was not enough room to get around, but
And it was extra wide too, so we narrowed it down to basically match the footprint of
Yeah.
what the asphalt's gonna. be.
yeah, exactly. So it lines up with the asphalt, so the car can come in and out. I mean, it's tough to get in and out there anyways on
Yes.
Owasco Road. I mean,
Yeah,
no doubt it's busy, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, looking at this, I mean, I don't see, it's in the same footprint. The one thing, Mr. Moran, that we gotta tell you, every time we give a variance, okay, well, we actually, there gotta be two things here. Every time we give a variance too closer to a property line that's permitted by code currently. We put a stipulation in there that you will store, or whoever owns the property. Will not store items on that side of the structure toward the neighbors that the variance has been granted.
Okay.
The simple reason is what we're getting is this, they want to build 2 feet, 8 foot closer to the property line, like there's leaving 2 feet. And then all of a sudden, the wheelbarrows and all the junk stuff, almost slipped, ends up on that side. And they can't see it from your house, but the neighbor's looking at it.
Sure.
And so if you're gonna build closer, you don't store stuff on that side. That makes some sense.
I agree. I don't even think anyone would ever entertain that because.
Oh, they do.
Gonna be on the other person's property.
Yeah, no, they do.
Yeah.
They do all the time.
Yeah.
See, this is tricks of the trade. We've been through this so many times that we've learned. The other on that property is because you're closer. I mean, the drainage is an issue because of the size of the roof line. So is it possible to put a gutter so it does since you're closer, you're gonna be closer to the property line and probably dump the water to the neighbors.
Yep.
If you put a gutter and shoot it down to the back,
Yeah.
down the hill, nobody should have any issues.
Yeah. We just put drain tile throughout the whole property. So and that's going out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be my concern, the water, primarily, just so that, because you would not believe the number of people who come and complain about a neighboring properties dumping water on theirs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it'll be basically, the gable, we'll put one gutter going this
Yeah.
way, one gutter that
Yeah.
way, we'll run the tile off the back and.
that
connect them
is
both.
shoot it right down, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, well, all I'm concerned is just dumping, it onto the closer property side. Okay,
Well, you don't want to undermine that foundation down on that whole thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
scary.
really
Yeah,
don't need
exactly.
that either.
Yeah.
It's a good sized roof. Any questions? I mean,
What I'd say is it doesn't look like, there's no opportunity to move it
no, not.
in compliance.
No,
because
I mean, I guess you
they
could move
run
it
into-
over, but then you
you
can't
won't be
get
able
the
to get
car
it.
in, because of the way it jogs, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of pointless,
Yeah.
other than
Yeah.
storage, you want to be able to use the garage, for God's sake.
The door's gonna be on the 14-foot end, facing the driveway, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, there won't be, just the one pull in straight up. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense.
And if a man door goes in, it'll be on the.
Oh, there's, on the
Mhm.
property,
Mhm.
that makes way more sense. Any, I don't see any other issues.
No, it improves the
I mean,
distance.
The other
from house,
properties are
right?
similarly
So that-
situated.
Yeah.
You're constrained by the hill behind.
Yeah.
The property's not very wide and the driveway is there. If you're gonna put a garage, that's where you're gonna put it.
Yeah.
Okay, to get a car in and out. Again, this one has just made way too much sense. Let me do this. I gotta say, even though I see nobody there, is anybody here to speak for or against? Let the record reflect there's nobody here to speak either for or against. Anybody have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to grant an 8-foot side yard variance on the north side of the property to Go Dumb Properties. Anthony Moran. 7321 Owasco Road, Auburn, New York, 13021, tax map. 116.18-1-28 to build a 12-foot by 14-foot unattached garage. The garage will run east to west in basically the same area of the previous garage, but will be pushed back 4 feet to the west. The proposed unattached garage must be placed in this area due to the small size of the lot. There is no other area that would fit into with the proper access and driveway. In making the determination, the zoning board of appeals took into consideration the benefit of the applicant is weighed against the health, safety, welfare of the neighborhood. In doing it, the zoning board also determined the following. That by moving it back 4 feet, it'll bring it in compliance with the fire code. From separation from the main residence, there will be no undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood. Other residents in the neighborhood have the same similar situation due to the small size lots like the lot right next door. Also, due to the location of the residence on this property, this is the only logical position for the unattached garage to be positioned. The residence was built prior to present zoning regulations regarding lot size and property line setbacks, thus creating a hardship for the property owner. This is the minimum variance necessary to build a proposed garage, and granting the variance, the zoning board requires rain gutters to be placed on the garage to prevent water from being directed at the neighbor's property, and also there will be no items stored or placed around the outside or rear of the garage. And as you mentioned, there's nobody here present to speak for or against the
I think it was 24 foot. By 14.
24 by 14.
Okay, I thought you had said.
Got a second?
smaller.
I second.
Yes,
Yes.
Jim?
Yeah.
Jerry?
Yes,
Sean?
Yes.
David?
Yes, and that will close the Moran hearing. That name cracks me up.
Go
I'm
Dom.
sorry.
Well,
Well, because you see how he says it, go dumb, Anthony Moran.
it's,
no, I said go dumb property.
myself and my good friend of mine, he does contracting and that's what he does, but this was like the first one we bought together. Because Tom Donovan owned it before.
Right,
And I
right.
think he was just like, I'm in over my head with this. I don't want to deal with it. And I was like, okay, we can make it work. So I said, Shane, let's go ahead and get this. And I said, we're two dummies, so let's go dumb. Correct.
That's,
With the property, so I would like to put a deck on the back of the building as well. I think it's gonna really help the attributes of the property. However, I think I was on your site 15 foot from the next parcel, I mean, for the deck, in terms of the setback on the sides.
on the side, well, that's part of the, okay, I showed you.
well, it was part of the house,
Yeah.
so it would follow the house. So if a house has a certain setback,
Okay.
so it still needed a
You
variance.
still need, you
The
still.
other
need
thing
the
you might
variance.
run into.
You're not gonna need it in the back, right? Because that property goes back way down the hill.
To the outlet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not gonna, you'll meet the 50 foot on the backside. You certainly on the garage side, you're gonna meet that. So
Yeah.
you'll need a variance on the
South side.
south
South
side.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
But
back.
usually
with
the
it.
key
Because you were
there
back
is,
there, you know how it kind of does that jut in? I think it's crazy just to run it for the first section. I think you kind of want to square it off to give it an aesthetic look and actually like functionality. Okay.
I mean, there's all sorts of,
You guys, the next one then.
well, yeah, unfortunately, we can't,
Oh, I know that. yeah.
you gotta, we gotta advertise them, give people a chance to
Yeah, yeah.
speak and what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta tell you, these are the two easiest applications. They happen to fall on the
Well,
same night.
every
I
now
mean,
and then
this
you
is
get to go home
awesome.
Early and advance, you know?
Yeah, no, it worked out good.
Alright.
I'm trying to think, which other one did we had you on one, not
The one on Striker.
on strike, okay.
Yeah, so that, once we get this done, we're gonna go that way and I'm gonna put my mom there, so.
Yeah, I remember you were in on one of the others. So, yeah, you're getting to be a regular.
We're
You know, hopefully we see
we're getting used to the lay of the land.
See, unlike the village 7 miles to the west, we're accommodating.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're,
Nah.
to the east.
are we still being recorded?
Yes,
Oh, let's close the hearing.
I'll make a motion,
Okay,
Second.
and Mike,
Yes.
Yeah, it's big difference for sure. We don't do